The next generation is not in a box. It is a place, said Phil Harrison today during Google's GDC presentation about their new gaming platform, Stadia. But honestly, after watching the hour-long presentation, I'm left with a lot more questions than answers. How much will it cost? What games will be on the service? What type of internet connection do I need? Is this really the future of gaming? We're going to talk about all that and more right now. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and maybe subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So, the industry's worst kept secret came to light today. Google finally announced what they are doing with their gaming push for this gen, next gen, considering it's launching at the end of this year, 2019. And you know what? The tech seems to be pretty cool, but I don't know if I am ready for the all-streaming gaming future, because that is what this is. It's nothing but game streaming to your PC or your tablet. There is no more hardware, no console. The rumors of there being some sort of hardware equal to or greater than the Xbox One X, that was completely false. There's no more console to buy. And while I do think eventually, down the road, 10 years or so from now, game streaming might be the way to go, I wasn't really impressed by what Google had on display here. So it all basically works based on Google's global infrastructure of more than 200 data centers. And basically you're going to be playing games via internet streaming on your smartphones, your tablets, desktops, laptops, TVs, via a Chromecast, things like that. And it builds on the technology that Google debuted last year with Project Stream, where in conjunction with Ubisoft, they tested out Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you played it right through your browser in 1080p 60. So while that test was limited to 1080p 60, they claim that Google Stadia can basically stream games up to 4K at 60 frames with HDR and surround sound, and there are plans to introduce 8K streaming. Yes, 8K streaming 120 frames in the future. And you know what? That kind of got my eyes rolling a little bit when I saw that. It's like, my lord, what kind of bandwidth are you going to need to stream 4K 60 frames HDR? And then what the hell are you going to need to stream 8K? Does anybody have an internet even capable of that? I certainly don't. But, you know, that's just obviously in the future. But to get all this stuff working at their data centers, they had to partner with AMD to build custom GPUs for its data centers that would power the games played via Stadia. And they claim that Stadia has 10.7 teraflops of power, and it was pretty interesting when they put up on screen the comparisons to the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, with the Pro having 4.2 and the X having 6, and they say, hey, this Google Stadia has more teraflops combined than our two competitors. Of course, they fail to mention that next generation is coming real soon, and obviously the PS5 is not going to have 4.2 teraflops, and the Xbox Anaconda isn't going to have 6, so that chart's going to be a little bit outdated. Now, the big selling point here is basically that Google is saying Stadia can be accessed via any device, and that the addressable audience is over 2 billion people, and that Google's going to try to make it as easy as possible for those users to jump right into a game. Now, the whole 2 billion gamers thing seems very familiar, right? It's basically what Microsoft and Phil Spencer have been talking about with Project xCloud, Game Pass, how they want to reach 2 billion gamers, and here Google is saying the same thing. Now we understand why Microsoft is kind of venturing into that market, because they knew Google was trying to get there as well. Now, the idea of Google making it as easy as possible and as quick as possible to jump into a game is pretty cool, and they showed off a nice little demo. They were at a landing page for the Assassin's Creed Odyssey trailer on the official YouTube channel, and there was like a little link on the left-hand side that you could click play now. And Phil Harrison said within 5 seconds of pressing that button, you would actually be playing the game instead of like currently where you have to download the game and download any patches. It's instantaneous access. And you know what? That kind of really opened my eyes there about pressing a button and being able to play right away. I could see that breaking down barriers for a lot of people who just want to get into something right away without owning any hardware or downloading anything. And the demo that they showed about how seamless it could be to play a game on your PC and then take it, your save, and leave right where you left off on your cell phone and then a low-spec PC to your TV was pretty cool, even though there was some obvious latency. I saw the guy pressing A couple times to jump, and the character didn't want to, so they have some bugs to fix out there. I wonder if the demo was actually running real-time or if there's some just really bad lag. Now, Stadia will also be compatible with all existing USB controllers and keyboards, but that didn't stop Google from making their own hideous-looking controller. Honestly, I puked a little bit in my mouth when they unveiled it. Disgusting looking. Ugh, what a horrible, horrible controller. It's got symmetrical sticks like the PlayStation 4, when everybody knows the asymmetrical style that Xbox has is the best. There's a couple new buttons on it. One is a capture button that enables players to share their gameplay by uploading it to YouTube. Google says that sessions will involve 2 simultaneous streams, one for the end user and one directly to YouTube, both to 4K and 60 frames per second. And the other is a Google Assistant button that you can, use to search for help while playing the game. The example they showed off during the stream was of Tomb Raider. They showed someone accessing the built-in microphone to ask how to solve a specific tomb, and the assistant brought up the top video result from YouTube, displaying it in front of the gameplay stream. Google also took the opportunity to demonstrate more of the technology and features behind Stadia. Style Transfer ML, for example, is a machine learning tech that can take any image and apply the color palette and patterns to a game environment. Stream Connect is a tool that help link split-screen perspectives, and drawing on the power of the cloud, Google claims developers will no longer have to sacrifice visual quality or performance when supporting split-screen multiplayer, and is even now opening new possibilities. State Share enables developers to let players share the world conditions, their position, or factors like their character's inventory with other people via a link. And it's kind of like save states. Imagine you're watching your favorite streamer get to a point in a game and you want to experience exactly what he is. You would download the save state and play from there. Interesting use of technology. You have to see how that would actually play out. A lot of this talk was also bringing gamers together with creators on YouTube, and they specifically mentioned crowd play, which will allow YouTubers to invite their viewers into the same gameplay session as them with the lobby system if they are limited player slots. One of the things that I was curious about was if Google would build up a first-party studio network to actually build exclusive content for their platform, and they are doing just that. They have hired Jade Raymond to lead their internal game studio called Stadia Games and Entertainment, and the team will build exclusive titles that fully show off the power of Stadia. My question is, well, are they just starting to get to work now? Have they been building games for years already? We all know how long games take to make. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And with this service, Stadia, launching at the end of 2019, are they going to have any exclusive content from their first-party studios ready to go at launch? How many first-party studios do they actually have? Do they have any actual studios in their first party? It wasn't exactly clear. And this is where I'm going to get into the part about why I have way more questions then Google has answers. The biggest question I have right now is, what will Google Stadia cost? Everything about Stadia upends the way games are traditionally bought and sold. Right now, you can walk into a GameStop, buy a physical disc, or you can buy it directly from Microsoft or Sony via a digital download. But this is completely streaming. So if you stream what you play, do you actually own the games or are you renting them? And if you're not buying any hardware, do you have to pay for a service? Will it be a subscription or more of a one-time fee sort of deal? See, these are the questions I was asking, and I was hoping that Google would answer them. But we don't know. It could be any of those things. You know, it's really nice to say, hey, click this link to play, and within 5 seconds, you'll be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But do I have to pay $60 for that game? Is it part of a subscription service? Is it like a Spotify, iTunes deal where it's like, I only have to pay a subscription fee and then the developers get paid X amount of money? Too many questions about the business model that I'm kind of shocked that Google really didn't explain any of that. And of course, then the next big question, considering this is completely all game streaming, is what kind of internet connection do you need? Yeah, they talked about 1080p, 60 frames. They talked about how they're going to have 4K, 60 frames, HDR, surround sound, and in the future, 8K, 120 frames per second. But they didn't mention, the base bandwidth of what you need. Is it 25 megs down, 50 megs down, 100 megs down, a gigabyte down? What do you need for this service? And this kind of comes in with the doubts about an all game streaming future. There are people out there, even in America, where our internet isn't exactly the best, that really can't get great internet, so they wouldn't be able to actually use this service. If I want 4K streaming, what type of internet do I need? How much is it going to chew through my data cap that I have with Comcast? Too many questions, and they didn't answer that, right? But of course, maybe the biggest question of all. It's all about the games. The games, the content, it's all king. Sure, we can wait for the price on Stadia. That'll eventually be answered down the road. And yeah, they'll probably give us information about what type of internet you'll need to get 4K, right? But what am I going to be playing on Stadia? I thought we'd get a whole bunch of developers coming out here and Phil Harrison on stage saying, we partnered with all these publishers and these games are going to be there. But all we got was Ubisoft with Yves Guillemot clapping in the stands. So we know Assassin's Creed Odyssey will be there and maybe some other Ubisoft games. They showed a clip of NBA 2K. We can assume that'll be there. id Software was there showing off Doom, so we can assume that will be there. They showed a clip of Tomb Raider, so we can assume that. But outside of that, what else is there? How many other publishers are on board? Look, for this to be a success, obviously it needs to actually work. It needs to be priced competitively, but it needs a gigantic library. Nobody is going to use this service if it doesn't have any games on there. But I imagine that's why Phil Harrison is leading it, why they have Jade Raymond in charge of the first-party studio. But it's really hard to tell what other game developers will allow on that, what is actually going to be on the platform. I'm just really confused by all that. I kind of wanted to see, considering this is Game Developers Conference, I wanted to see the announcements of everything that's going to be there. Now, they did say they're going to have more to share with us in the summer, presumably at E3, and maybe that's where you'll get like the exclusive games. The rumor about Sega doing exclusives and all that different stuff, and the pricing and all that different things. But for the original announcement today, this seemed more like they were selling a dream, an idea. And while some of it seemed pretty interesting, a lot of it was just vague. For instance, their first-party announcement being headed up by Jade Raymond. Are we to expect a first-party exclusive from Google Stadia's teams to be launching with the system in 2019? Or are they just getting started building exclusives right now, and we shouldn't expect anything until 2022? Those are the type of things I'm talking about. The intentional vagueness about the bandwidth and the price and the whole structure of it all. I'm just a little bit confused, but maybe by the end of the year, we won't be. Anyways, guys, that's my first initial thoughts, reaction on Google Stadia. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share this out on social media, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and hit that notification bell if you always want to be notified when I drop new content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.